Okay, I want to go through some, minor changes that I made here for Final Fight. This was just all based on stuff where there were little anomalies in the uptown entrance stage that I really wasn't happy with. So first of all, let me get a screenshot of this so I can highlight it. So I didn't really like the way any of this, looked here. I didn't like how that just abruptly ended. It looked kind of strange. Um, and you also notice here that at the top of the elevator door, the the glass is actually supposed to display on top of the elevator frame, but I had the priorities wrong, and so and so it's actually beneath it there. So that sucks. And then the other thing too is see kind of like in the corners here. Um, like in the left and right corner, it's just kind of there's some gray pixels, and it just looks kind of spotty, and there's it just kind of hangs because of this line here is basically the same color as the floor, and so it just looked bad, and I was never really happy with it. Um, let me, I'm looking for the I don't know what I have bound for my the other thing too, you'll notice that the priorities. See how the priority here, um, we're displaying the elevator door on top of where the players are, but the problem is that the players still have priority over the background, and it just looks bad. Shit! I gotta restart this. Yeah, and it just looks bad because um, you can see here, see how the character's standing over there, and then like right, see, like, like right there, where the character, the side of the character can stick out. It's just not good enough. And this kind of stuff happens because I basically give you control over where you enter the elevator, whereas in the original game it would just always center you like right in the middle. So they just basically sidestepped this problem. It's kind of the same issue here at the top of the elevator with see there, it's just hanging over. It just doesn't look good. And then look, if you jump, you can kind of see where the priority of everything is, and see it just looks bad. So I was never happy with this. Um, and let me get a screenshot of this actually so I can show you the other thing that I addressed here. Okay, and then yeah, the other thing too, I noticed that so for this stage, the floor is actually 5 pixels too short, and you can see it basically, um, especially near the end of the stage. Um, Let me get there. See how at the very top of the screen where that column is, you can actually see part of the top where you're not supposed to. And so that's just because this whole thing is shifted down, 5 pixels too much. And so this area here where you can walk, it should actually be 5 pixels taller, to be the same as the original arcade game. Okay, so whatever, all that crap into consideration. Now, this is the new version, and I'll show you, like how much this is cleaned up. So, let me get this guy over here. Okay, so now, like if you look at the bottom of the elevator, see how there's kind of like a nice little shadow that blends in, and there isn't any kind of just like weird line there, and see how the top of the elevator glass is actually overlapping on the frame, so it's actually fitting where it's supposed to, and you'll notice that when let me kill this guy, and you'll notice that when the elevator lowers. You can actually see the shadow disappear as the door is opening, and see how when it's completely open, it's clean now. There's no extraneous pixels around the bottom of it. Now, and also look at the priorities. See how it's actually clipping the sprite. When he's behind it. And see how when it closes, the glass is still, on top of the frame, so it's actually kind of as it should be. So now you'll notice that when you go up, see how it's all clipping now, and the character wasn't displaying, on top of, like the background there, and it's the same thing when you get to the top of the stage here. So see how it's clipping now, and the glass is properly aligned there. That's all nice. So let me get a screenshot of this, so I can do like a one-to-one comparison here, so you can really see what all changed. So, some things to notice here. See how, if you look at the bricks, see how on the left side of the screen, like right here, like the tiling of the bricks, was actually misaligned where it didn't perfectly line up, with the pattern. And see how in the new version, like the alignment is all exactly as it should be. Everything perfectly lines up, yeah, so basically all that stuff has just been fixed. And then the other nice thing too is that there's some additional colliders. So see how if the character jumps now, there's actually a ceiling collider, and so you don't get those nasty priority problems anymore. It's just way cleaner. See, it's just all nice. And then see how the stage is actually, like the floor here. Like I said, it's actually a little bit more, Z axis room here than there was before. See how the top of the column now perfectly ends with the top of the screen. So this was all just basically just polished and more or less just kind of made where there really aren't any like little glitches anymore. So it's nice. Okay, so the other thing. So in the original, well, not the original, in the previous version, the endless stage select screen. So basically, I had always kind of wanted to add another endless stage here because you notice that of all the stages that we have here, the one that we're missing is the stage directly after the subway train, where you're kind of in the like the what I call the subway railway stage, in between the train and the Sodom fight stages. So basically, there was no endless stage for that, and part of the problem was that I wanted this to fit on 4:3 and even 1:1 aspect ratio screens, and and there just wasn't room for it. And it also kind of made it weird where, I had 16 stages, and that's kind of a nice even number, and you have like a nice, 4x4, layout, and that was fine. But if I added the other stage, now I had 17, and you have this weird odd number, and it's like, how do you organize it? How do you display it? And so basically, even though it was completely fucking berserk, just utterly insane, I put in, some new, but basically I'm kind of I changed the way I calculated, all of the positioning of the elements on the stage, kind of how I handle it. And now basically I can have an arbitrary, size for these stage selections, and I can, have basically as many as I want. So, so now if we go into the new version, see how I can actually lay out this with as many as I want. And so, and you can see that I now have a railway stage, endless stage. And basically, depending on the size of your screen, I can lay these out. And what's even crazier is, like say let's say we bump it down to like 16:9 aspect ratio, right? So 16:9 aspect. Oh wait, did the wrong one. So it's 16:9 aspect ratio. You can just see how it lays out the endless stage selection. See how this there aren't as many now because this is how much room that it had. So it can do 6 columns and 4 rows. And basically you can see how like the position of everything changes, and like all these calculations, all of these objects, that are put in there for the stages, basically it's all calculated dynamically, and I can lay this out wherever I want, and it's crazy where if you take it down to like the most extreme aspect ratio, which is basically 1:1, where you have like a monitor where the width and the height are the same. See how it can dynamically size those stage selection boxes. See how it made them smaller, and everything has just been adjusted. And basically the logic for the calculation essentially is we effectively need 17 boxes here minimum to handle all the stages. And so what it does is it figures out like what size can I make the width of these boxes that contain everything to be able to do this in a way where I have at least 17. Because basically, like once you decide on a width, because these boxes are effectively 12:7 aspect ratio, the proportions are 12:7 because it's the proportion, because you want a square, and the game, the game's graphics, are a 12:7 aspect ratio. So you basically want the proportions of each one of these boxes to be 12:7. And so basically once you have once a width, you can decide what the height is going to be, and then that's going to dictate how many rows you have room for, and basically it'll just always lay it out. It is just nuts because I mean all this stuff. Like the same logic that it's using for the stage, to lay out things, like the elevator stage, for example. That same logic actually gets applied on the endless stage selection as well, which is just, insane. And yeah, so it's pretty awesome. It just this can all just be anything now, and regardless, and so basically regardless of how many screens I have. The different size of the screen that I have, I can lay this out, and it'll just figure it out, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah, and also just to show you something kind of crazy here, It's so ridiculous. So this is 16:9. So it's so ridiculous on the new endless stage. So I mean, it's so nuts that for this little box here, the water droplet is actually synced up with the light in the background. And so if you pay close attention to it, you can actually see the water droplet get darker if the light's off, or brighter when the light's on. It's just it's so it's over engineered, but it's nice. And so this is the new endless stage. Basically, it's just the railway stage that goes on forever. And the nice little cameo in this one. If you look in the background, you can kind of see Nemo from the CPS one, Finding Nemo game. He'll be running around back there, and so that's basically the new endless stage. Yeah, but I'm happy with this because this finally let me add this, because basically, see, this is the funny thing. I had actually created this stage already, but I just didn't have a place to put it. And so I had this endless stage all this time, and this is also a stage that can be a background, for the front end. And I had it all this time, and I couldn't enable it just because I didn't have any room for it, on the stage selection. So it was really irritating, that I didn't have that. So yeah, I'm glad that I was finally able to do this. And just to show you just how flexible it is, like, it's just nuts. I mean, so So just so you can see like how crazy it is, just how this works. So basically everything, like I said, is calculated dynamically. So if I were to do something like change railway endless in my stage list to be before the subway train stage, without doing anything else, without changing anything else in the program, because everything happens dynamically now. When I go into the endless stage selection, it's just gonna know that that's the order and that's where to put the elements for the stage without changing anything else. And that just shows you just like how crazy, like how dynamic all the calculations are. See just by making that change, it put the railway stage before the train stage, because that is the order that I just changed it to. And so see, like, all that's, and then like the repeating stages, it just all happens automatically. I didn't have to change anything else because every single thing here is calculated dynamically. Now, another, and also, like, there have been just tons of tiny little things that have been cleaned up and fixed. So there's stuff that, like, I can't believe I didn't notice it before. But I finally just notice little things and fix them. So let me bring up the old version here. So if you look at this animation, look at the guy in the middle. With the glasses on, and look at it, and look at his left elbow, and notice that when he raises his arm, the bottom of his elbow, there's actually a tile that stays there, like that's been a glitch in the graphics in the original game since 1989, and it's just fucked. I can't believe I never noticed that. Yeah, you can just see that when he lifts his arm, just the bottom of his arm just stays there, and you can see how in let me change this back, and you can see now how in the new version of it, I've actually corrected those graphics. See how when he raises his arm, his whole arm actually comes up with it now, and it's not displaying there at the bottom. And then properly as it was supposed to be, when he lowers his elbow, it's actually kind of bumping into the guy in front of him, like as it was always supposed to be. So yeah, I said just all that time, like all that time that was fucked up, and like I don't know if anybody ever noticed. Another really interesting thing that I found was that 2P actually had some erroneous pixels that were left over from Jay's sprite, and I fixed those. Um, and also there have been some just kind of minor improvements to some of the grab animations. Like if I do you see how there's a custom overlay now for guy kneeing damned in the balls, whereas before, like in the original game, his grab offset was just garbage. So there's little nice little tweaks like that. So that's it's really grinding in there now, really getting them in the nards. So okay, so just nice little things, but there's more. There's more. One other thing that was always missing in the game that kind of pissed me off was that the chandeliers in the game, didn't fall on you. And so basically, what I did was let me actually. The Uptown Hall stage will be better for this, just because it has a lot of chandeliers. Oh, wrong one. So basically. Now, if you look closely at the chandeliers, like it's going to randomly basically choose whether a chandelier can aggro on you or not. And chandeliers that aggro, will fall. Basically, like with the standard, cable or wire, holding up the elevator, it is an aggro. And the other thing too is. I corrected some of the offsets when you like break the chandelier, and it's like much nicer now. See, notice how this chandelier here, its cable is brighter, and that's how you know that it's basically an aggro chandelier. See, and if I go under it, it's gonna say. So basically, if you pay close attention, you can kind of see which chandeliers are gonna fall, and you can use them to land on enemies and that kind of things. See, this one will also fall. So it's just that was just kind of one of those few that this one won't aggro. So that's just kind of one of the few little touches. Yeah, this one will aggro. One of the few touches that was in the original game that I didn't have, and so I really was going for just completion there, and so yeah, so it's nice that this the chandelier was subtly improved there. Yeah, there have been some other kind of subtle improvements, but basically these are some of the highlights, and yeah, unless I find something else, this should pretty much wrap up that stuff. But like I said, see in this case when it generated the random chandeliers, neither one of these chandeliers aggro. But there have just been just kind of just there's kind of like a lot of stuff that's just like super minutia. I mean things to the level of like the shadow colors in the demo stages for Guy, Cody, and Hager didn't match the shadows that that were actually set in the stages that you can play. So those have been synced up. I mean just this is just super minutia. But it's nice though, to go in and correct these things because, I mean, ideally, I want to make things as good as they can, possibly be.